In today's episode, I'm going to share with you my personal conclusion after reading the Bible 10 times. Hi friends, welcome back to the Faith Talk podcast. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us. My name is John, the host for the Faith Talk podcast. I'm a seminary student studying my master's in theology, and I want to put a disclaimer out there that I do not have a PhD, I'm not an expert in theology, and so the conclusion that I share with you today are just based on my personal experiences and my journey of faith. You know, I've read books by C.S. Lewis, Billy Graham, saw videos by Paul Washer, I read books, those famous books by C.S. Lewis, Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer, books by Timothy Keller, and I used all of that as my reference. And so the experiences that I share, the three experiences, are just based on my personal experience. And so take that. It's not the perfect answer, but hopefully you can take that and it helps you in your pursuit of faith. Conclusion number one is that the most important thing that God desires from us is that we accept Him as the Lord of our life. If you read the Old Testament, especially the prophecy books, right? Like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, there's a phrase that repeats multiple times, and I would say even 100 times, and it's the phrase that says, "Know that I am the Lord," or "I am doing this so that my people will know that I am the Lord." That's the most important thing. What He desires from you is not for you to be busy in your Christian life. The most important thing is that He just wants you to know that He is the Lord of your life. If you remember that famous verse in Jeremiah, that my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. I spent a lot of time in the church with this misunderstanding that I have to be this busy Christian, that I have to do all these things in order to show that I am a Christian, to show people, to show God that I'm a Christian by doing all of these things. But what I realized after reading the Bible was that that's not what He desires from you. What He desires from you is that you accept Him as the Lord of your life and make sure that you talk, you walk, and live according to that fundamental belief. That's the most important thing. And it always comes back to one of my favorite verses in the book of Psalms, and it says, "Be still and know that I am the Lord." Look it up. Just that first part, it says, "Be still." It's not about, hey, go do all these things to show that you're a Christian, but be still and understand and know more of who I am. And that's the most important thing that He desires from us. Conclusion number two is that the Bible shows how valuable you are. It shows your self-worth. Because as I mentioned in my first conclusion, that I did all these things to show that I am a faithful Christian, that I am a superb and really truly founded Christian by doing all these things, being part of the worship team, by doing all these media ministry and getting involved in the church. And I thought that is what brings value to my Christian faith. But God was telling us all along in the Bible that you are worth more than those things. That your value doesn't come from the actions that you take, but it comes from internal. It comes from inside of you. And that's why He says the most important thing for you is your heart, to guard your heart. And that's what's most important, because you are already created in His image. That means you have more value and you have more worth than you can ever imagine. And especially if you have faith inside of you, that faith, if you have a faith that's small as a mustard seed, it can move mountains. And He was showing us what is truly valuable in our life and where your true value and true worth comes from. So stop wasting your time doing all these things that don't add value to you, but realize the true value that's already inside of you. Recognize that, have confidence, have courage, and live with that authority that He gives to you in your daily life. God, when He originally created Adam, He said, "Let us make man in our image." And after He created Adam, He said, "Take control of all these things, have dominion." So that's how we were originally created, to overcome the world, to have authority authority in the world. But we lost a lot of that when we turn self-conscious, thinking that we have to do all these things to show our worth. But we've already been worthy. Don't be overwhelmed by the world, but have courage and just have faith in Jesus, and you'll be able to control all the aspects in your life. Conclusion number 3 is that the Bible's definition of success and our definition of success is different. If you ever read the book of Ecclesiastes, and I highly recommend it if you didn't get a chance to read it yet, is that Solomon made this conclusion. After gaining all that wealth, all that fame, is that the conclusion that he made is that everything is meaningless. So does that mean I shouldn't be putting effort into all the things that I do, like work and school? No, that's not what it means. Put in the effort to get good grades. Put in the effort to work hard at your workplace. But your heart shouldn't be in that place, because that is not what defines success. Rather, this is what defines success. I saw this interview with Jonathan Rumi, the man who plays Jesus in the TV series Chosen. And by the interviewer asked him, what is one question that you want to ask Jesus? And Jonathan answered, he wants to ask Jesus this question: did I do well? Man, when I was seeing that interview, that question was so powerful. We work so hard in our lives, trying to do all these different things to be successful, and to trying to find our purpose in life and doing all these things to think what is successful. But the most important thing is that what defines success is what makes Jesus happy. So don't ask yourself, what is going to make me happy and what is going to make me successful? But ask the question to Jesus, Jesus, did I do well? And that should be the conclusion of our day. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And share if you have your personal conclusions after reading the Bible. And take a look at this video, and hopefully it helps you grow in your faith.